been reading your comments, I've seen a lot of people ask what one of my complete workouts is like. Whether I break my workouts up into a strength portion and a cardio portion after. Well, I actually don't do any cardio at all. The first half of my workout is usually strength biased with a very typical set rep scheme utilizing 1 or 2 compound movements. And I usually follow that up with what's called high intensity interval training. Basically a short, really intense workout that pushes me to my absolute max. Now my high intensity workouts still use compound movements, but typically at a lighter weight because of the sheer number of reps that you're doing. And this workout utilizes 2 of my favorites: pull-ups and kettlebell swings. Now, before I get into the movements in the workout, I want to talk about interval training for a little bit and why I do it instead of normal cardio. I don't want this to turn into a big argument, but I found that for me, interval training helps me save time because I don't have to do an hour of cardio after a workout. 2, studies have shown that interval training benefits can occur up to 48 hours after your workout. And 3, I find interval training to be extremely challenging and a lot of fun. Okay, maybe I lied about that last part. It's no fun at all, but it's a lot of suffering that ends up being very rewarding after. So this workout should be done after your strength training, and it starts with pull-up. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, but I can't do pull-ups, especially girls. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do pull-ups at all. Instead, the exercises that you're the weakest at and the ones that you hate the most are the ones that you need to hit the hardest. Now, I found that for people who can't do pull-ups with their own weight, bands are perfect for helping them build the strength up to the point where they can. And especially for those of you who've asked me how to do muscle-ups, doing a lot of pull-ups and band-assisted muscle-ups can help you get there. Now, the reason bands are so good, especially for this, is because bands obey Hooke's law of elasticity. It basically boils down to the fact that bands yield more force or resistance the further they are stretched. So especially for pull-ups where being at the bottom of your pull-up is where it's the hardest, the band assists you by adding the most force to help you up, and as you pull up higher, the band assists you less and less, forcing your muscles to do the rest of the work. Now, attaching bands is pretty straightforward, but make sure you do it safely. You can loop it around a beam or a pole overhead, and make sure you pull it tight like Zane is doing here. Or if you have poles that stick out like this, you can just hang it and not have to loop it back through itself. The point is to be safe and not have the band slip off or fly off during your workout. Stepping into the band is particularly important as well. Make sure you firmly pull the band down and step into it safely before reaching up to grab the pull-up bar. The second movement for this interval workout is called your kettlebell swing, and the kettlebell swing is awesome for putting on muscle and building power. It heavily hits your posterior chain muscles and is incredible for developing speed, strength, and coordination. The motion itself even mimics a clean, which, as I've shared with you guys before, is one of the ultimate exercises for building full body coordination and strength. Start by holding the kettlebell with your hands on the handle side by side firmly, or if you want, you can also use a dumbbell. You can either hold the dumbbell handle straight on with one hand on top of the other, or sometimes I'll just hold the top. But make sure if you hold it this way that the dumbbell doesn't go flying out of your hands. It could be very dangerous. Start with your feet shoulder width apart, and you're gonna bring the weight down in between your thighs by bending your hips, your knees, and your ankles. With your chest up, hips back, and back straight, your power is going to come from the explosion of your hips forward. Extend your ankles, your knees, and your hips all at the same time, and that's going to generate the power to bring the weight up. And not surprisingly, this is exactly the same motion as your clean, or as if you're jumping. The weight comes in between your legs below your groin, and you can actually let this part of your arm contact your inner thigh. Remember, this motion is about power and speed, so really jump and extend your knees and your hips and your ankles all at the same time to bring that weight up. And you'd be surprised at how heavy you can swing, and especially how much it works and how quickly you can get gassed. So once you got the movements down, for the workout, you need to download an interval training timer. I have this one on my Android phone. You need to set the work interval for 40 seconds and the rest interval for 1 second, and then set the number of rounds for something high, like 50 rounds or something. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna start doing kettlebell swings. Pick a weight with something that you're comfortable with that you can do a lot of. I use 50 pounds. Don't make it too heavy because our goal is to do 100 kettlebell swings. Now the catch is you're gonna start the timer when you start your kettlebell swings, and every single time you see that 1 second rest period, stop doing kettlebell swings and you do 5 pull-ups. And as soon as you're done with those 5 pull-ups, go right back to kettlebell swings and do as many as you can until the next 1 second rest period, and then do 5 more pull-ups. So what makes this workout so hard is the longer you take to do your pull-ups, the less time you have to do the next set of kettlebell swings because the clock keeps counting and doesn't stop. And so for example, if somehow you're so tired that you could only do 1 kettlebell swing before the next 1 second rest period, that means you would do 100 rounds just to finish all 100 kettlebell swings. Which also means you're doing your pull-ups really slowly, which will make you end up doing 500 pull-ups. So it really forces you to work as fast as you can in every round in order not to do a million rounds to finish the 100 kettlebell swings. And which is also the reason why I suggest you guys use bands to help you finish this workout. And even with bands, afterwards, you'll probably still feel like Zane.
How do you feel?
So if you need a set of bands, I provide a link below, and go ahead and try the workout and let me know how it goes.